You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right, we're here for the Hemp Connoisseur Radio. Did we do this last week? We did, didn't we? Wow, 2 weeks in a row for me is now like a big thing because I'm so freaking busy all the time.
I don't even need those.
We're here with two of my favorite guests, Norm and Jetter, hosts of Bong-a-Thon.
Bong-a-Thon!
You know, I just posted on Facebook very late, but it is the most legendary cannabis camping party in Colorado. So I love having you guys on. Bong-a-Thon is coming up.
Man, it's coming up fast.
It is, isn't it? This summer's flown by.
It has, and
right?
that's the thing, you know. And it's funny when I start organizing Bong-a-Thon in January, and the party is in August. It's amazing how fast like my summer goes, because once the party's over, you look at the rest of the summer and you're like, oh, I got a month and a half.
Yeah,
it's over,
yeah.
You know?
I have that same thing with the championship. Whenever we're doing that for the next few months, it's just like that's going to be so encompassing of what my time is. I know what it is when you're preparing something. So yeah, I get it, man. I mean, but your event is way bigger than what we do. I mean, you're talking about, how many people normally come in?
Well, we'll have about 2,000 people up there this year, maybe 2,500. And so the thing is I don't think it's so much that it's a big event, because relatively small compared to some of the cannabis events. But I think the fact that we do it on the side of a mountain and do it very well on the side of a mountain.
Yeah. Well, and that's the nice thing is, I told you earlier, I'm really bummed that I'm not going to be able to be there this year. But one of the nice things about it is there's so much land that it's taking place on that you really do feel like, wow, we're so isolated. There's nobody around us. It's very private feel.
Well, first off, congratulations on the newborn. I understand why you got to stay home this year.
Thank you.
That's good news.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, when you're up there, we're on an 80-acre parcel of 180 acres up there. And even on the 80-acre parcel, like, we can't even spread out enough on that to even make a dent on the property we're on. And then when you're there, there's mountain views basically on 3/4 of the
it's
view.
Gorgeous. It really is.
Oh yeah,
it's the best way to wake up.
Yeah, and you still got snow on some of those tips up there. And for people that come in out of state, I mean, it's just breathtaking.
So there is still snow this year, right? I don't think there was snow last year.
Yeah, there's usually a touch. And sometimes it's just a smidgen.
Yeah, when you look off at the other mountain peaks, you'll see snow and stuff.
Yeah, just a touch up there.
Well, and especially this year because it's been
none,
such a good.
None
a lot
at
of
the
snow
property.
last year.
A lot of snow.
None at the property though.
Well, no, the property was warm. It was hot actually, but It's August.
And if you're coming out, you're looking at like 80s in the day, and you're looking at 40s at night. So it gets nippy at night.
Yeah, it's Colorado, man.
Bring some.
It was 39 degrees up there the other morning.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what's great about it, actually, because it'd be a hot day, you sweat your butt off out there, and then all of a sudden you just cool off.
And it cools off nice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good time. I'm excited for everybody that's going to get to go from our staff this time. Because 2 extra people got tickets that wouldn't normally, because I would normally be going. So, is there anything new like in development for this year in Bong-a-Thon?
Well, we always mix it up every year. We like keeping our consistency too, because it is a 40-year-old event.
It is a 40-year-old event.
And so we do like to make sure that we keep our tradition adhered to, if you will.
Right.
And so basically the biggest event and the one that has the most prestige is Bong-a-Thon, and that's the 7-gram, quarter-ounce down your throat event. And last year, Mark Rice, who is 52 years old, I might add, he won Bong-a-Thon and smoked a quarter-ounce in 5 minutes and 26 seconds.
That's insane. A lot of people don't. I think a lot of people don't realize the concept of smoking an entire quarter in 5 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why we do the fastest gram competitions around town, because the thing is if you show up to a fastest gram competition and it takes you a minute, let's say, to do a gram, then you're looking at a 7-minute time.
And that's if you can keep that pace, but 1 gram is a real sprint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to do 6 more right behind it and keep up. So
that's crazy to me.
What up?
Samantha just came in the room, running a little late, as usual.
So yeah, that's the deal on Bong-a-Thon. Now, the trophies for Bong-a-Thon are worth about $5,000 a piece.
That's right.
They're high-end trophies. They're collaborated by Puke and Beagle Glass, myself, Lunchbox.
When you say yourself, you should say the name of your company.
Well, I'm Chris Jetter, so it's Jetter. That's all
Jetter
you need
Glass.
to know. Yeah, that's right. And so then Lunchbox collaborated on it, and then Berserker did all the Dichro images this year that are on the piece. And
nice.
They have been stunning in the years past that Berserker's done, but of course he's upping his game, and the images are just amazing this year.
Cool. I can't wait to see it. I think, did you post a picture of one of them?
Not yet. And
Pieces
the thing is,
of them.
What's that?
Pieces of them.
That's what it was.
Well,
I saw
we've
the
got
piece.
Nate collaborating on it too. Nate, Nathan Myers, world famous,
right.
And so he made us some rockets. For the perks that are going to be on the inside of the bong.
Got it.
So the inside of the bong will have these rockets that are the perks. And I was up at Puke and Beagles just earlier in the week, and he had them all put on a launch pad. So like they're going to be in this tube on a launch pad,
that's awesome.
all encased. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty sweet. So.
You guys are very impressive in the way you gather sponsors for this party. It's one of the things I've always noticed. I mean, you got us, but I mean that's easy for us. But like honestly, you know. Out of any other party that goes on, you guys have so many people that just want to be a part of it and want to be involved.
Well, and the thing that we try to spin on this thing is that we call it a tradecation. Okay, and the reason it is a tradecation is that we want basically anybody in the trade that wants to come up and participate to do exactly that.
Yeah.
And so the concept is that we do offer invitations to the public, but it's a very limited number of invitations that go to the public. The majority of the people that come to the party are staff, sponsors, bands. And then there's a handful of the public.
It's true because we're gonna have a pretty good presence there.
Are there dogs allowed?
No
Pets, people.
No dogs.
Okay.
Well, you can bring
service dogs.
You can bring your boa constrictor. I don't care. You can
That's
bring your
fine.
turtle.
I have seen.
Right.
Service dogs are okay.
Yeah,
We are thinking because, like he
reptiles.
said, there's 2 80-acre parcels. One's where we have the party at, and then the other one's across the road. We're talking with the owner about allowing the people with dogs to camp over on that side, but their dogs would have to stay over there.
Sure, and that's understandable. I mean, I think the other thing that would be important is to make sure that those people are all cleaning up after their dog.
Well, and that's
Right.
the problem that we have with the dog thing because,
Sure.
everybody is not a good dog owner.
Absolutely.
And so it's hard when you get a bunch of people up there and somebody ties down their dog out in the sun and
Yeah.
there's no water out there and the dog is barking for the last 6 hours and nobody can find an owner, and then it's an issue.
So you know what? Charge a little bit more for the dog area, and then have some rotating volunteers of people that are keeping an eye on the dogs that are being paid for.
Yeah, and that's a thought. I mean, we've kicked it around, and
I'm just telling you how to do it now, guys.
Why are you telling them how to run their show?
Because I have a dog, and I want to
we've
be able to. My
discussed
dog is awesome. I
For
want to be able to
30
bring him.
years they've
And
been
everybody
running
has dogs. I have dogs,
And
I
that's-
wanna
I
bring
would do
dogs
that,
too.
you
You know
know.
what I mean? But the thing is like someone is going to bring up their little teacup Chihuahua,
Yeah.
and then Chris is going to bring up his pit bull, and someone and someone's going to have lunch, and then there's going to be an issue, And so that's one of the reasons we kind of shy away from the dogs.
Absolutely.
Canoe wouldn't hurt a fly. Yeah, they're assholes.
Yeah, it's the little ones that you got to worry about usually. Actually,
You always have to worry about
your little
weenies,
Napoleon
my
complexes
experience.
running around yipping at you. Yeah.
But yeah, our sponsors this year, in fact, have really stepped up for us. It's always difficult for me since we resurrected the party in 10 to put like all the finances on the table and get everything taken care of pre-party because, as you know, stoners wait till the last minute to get their
Absolutely
invitation.
drives
So
everybody crazy.
You're trying to like finance everything without any of the bulk of the income that comes in on the party, and so these guys have helped us out a lot this year.
Yeah. Being in the cannabis events promotions department is not fun. I mean, it is. It's a lot of work. You're right, and it's a lot of pressure
The
because
first couple of years, it was just
it's last minute every time, and you're just like always nervous. You're like, oh god. We have the same thing on sales in the magazine. A lot of companies come in the last like 2 days of sales.
Yeah, or they send you their artwork like at midnight on deadline day if you're lucky,
This
or
is the
8
first
o'clock
year
the
we
next
haven't.
morning.
It's usually
This is the first year we haven't been stressed out about beer.
Yeah, Lazy Lion hooked it up. They
right
bought
on.
us. They bought us 25 kegs of beer.
That's cool. That's a fun little spot down in Colorado
Yeah.
Springs for those of you guys who don't know.
And
about
Andrew
it.
and Manny, those dudes are super cool.
Yeah.
They are a recreational-based collective, much like Blue Mountains, which is our other.
And he
deal.
kind of says that he kind of copied our company when he seen our interview.
And that's funny
Right.
because we've been kind of going round and round, like
Uh-huh.
we point at him, well, hell, they're doing it right like this,
Yeah.
and we're all legal, and
Right.
so, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship between Blue Mountains and Lazy Lion, but they've done it right. They've got that, that basically that 20,000 square foot spot up there. They've got a 5,000 square foot grow in there. It's all legit. It's
Right.
coated up there.
So can you explain what Blue Mountain is then to our listeners who don't know you guys,
Sure.
and then also like what
Well, basically, what the model is, it's kind of like this. What happened is we legalized weed.
Yeah.
You know, and the governor had his toes in the dirt about whether he was going to sign that document because he wanted some guidance from the federal government, if you will. And of course, they never came through with any. And so eventually, he signed that document. And when he did sign that document, there was a few of us that had a foresight basically to incorporate as a recreational collective. Basically, Amendment 64 says that you can't be remunerated for cannabis.
Okay.
And that's the key word, okay? Remuneration is the key word in the constitutional amendment. So the thing is I can sell you pot, per se, for reimbursement. In other words, if I have a grow at my house and I grow 6 plants for you because it says in the Constitution that I can assist you,
Right.
okay? I have certain costs going into that pot. There's, costs with the newts, there's costs with the lights, there's costs with, electricity, all those sorts of things. And so I can compile all those costs and divide it down, okay, and basically say, okay, your quarter ounce is reimbursable for this amount of dollar, okay? And so the concept is the same for the incorporated company like Lazy Lion or Blue Mountains. But the thing is we're constantly putting the money back in the company. Okay.
So is it a nonprofit then?
Yeah, it's a not-for-profit, and there's a difference.
Yes, there is a difference. Right.
We're not a 501c3, and we're not a 501c7, which are registered with the federal government. They won't recognize us.
Right.
Okay. But we are a not-for-profit company. So basically, what that means is, at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year, if there are any profits that are left over in the company, it's not distributed among the members that own the company. Okay, so that money sits in there. We spend it the next quarter on whatever expenses we have, and we continue to move on down the line. So the company can grow as large as it wants in that period of continual reimbursement.
Right, and I mean, as employees of that not-for-profit, you just pay yourselves.
Well,
as well.
And no, we can't, because we can't remunerate ourselves. So in other words,
it is remunerate.
Okay, we can't pay Norm because he's one of the board members and an owner. Okay.
Oh, I see. But you can have employees. That
And
get
exactly,
paid. Yes.
and I could hire you as an employee.
Yes.
You could come in and grow for me, and I can hire you.
Sure, of course.
I can also lease space.
Now,
Okay.
all the people that are board members and owners can also have at their place, at their residence, their small grows, and those can be part of the grow for Blue Mountains, and Blue Mountains can then pay for their rent or mortgage or whatever it is.
Whatever expenses that are included at that location.
I see.
And so it's no different than like cell phones.
Sure.
Blue Mountains can pay for our cell phones and our gas and stuff
Right.
like that.
So you would look at square footage of your home or wherever you're growing, the percentage of that's taken up by grow, and the percentage of the utilities and all that
Correct.
kind of stuff.
And so the thing is we can't, again, pay ourselves. We can't cut ourselves a check and go pay income tax on it.
Got it.
So that's the only difference. Now, the company can grow as large as we need it to.
Right. So it's basically a labor of love for you guys, in which you're hoping that you don't lose money doing it, and that's basically the kind of setup that a not-profit is for the board members.
Yeah, I mean, it's cannabis, and we know we're not going to lose money.
Right.
And so we know that we can constantly grow the company.
Right.
And really, it was kind of a when the law changed, okay, and we saw this opportunity, we jumped in, okay. And then what happened is the legislative session was still in session when we did an article with the Denver Post, Eric Gorski, okay. We got a dab bus, we put it down at our attorney's parking lot across the street from the Justice Center, and we spun this really beautiful article about how we were going to do this VIP service for all these wonderful people that wanted to smoke pot. And
all of a sudden, a bunch of other places started popping up trying to do that.
Well,
too,
the thing is when the article was published, Eric Gorski spun it as the title was "Pot Collectives Test Limits of Law," and then it was this entire article about how we were operating in the gray. And there was 2 DAs that actually made comment on the article, one from Denver and one from Boulder. And like their biggest beef was with us at the time with the law change was that we could get robbed. So they didn't voice that we were breaking any laws, okay? Right. It was the front page Sunday edition. You did have the center fold out with me bent over a rig.
Of course, of course. That's how the media does it. They always want to see, like, it's like the money shot for media now.
Yeah.
Is somebody smoking a big fat blunt or like something paraphernalia based whenever they show a pot business person.
They have their own agendas too.
Of course.
And when they were there interviewing us, they interviewed all 3 of us that were there, or all 4 of us that were there. And like they asked me, what's up with the tattoos? They were just trying to find something like I got all these in prison or something.
Yeah, right.
And the only one that's got a criminal record is me. Okay, and he asked me very bluntly if I had a criminal record, and I said, "Look, I had an issue with the Bong-a-Thon in 1999 when they kicked in my door, and I had a case in 2010 when Adams County told me I was growing illegally, even though I had more than enough paperwork. It took me a little over a year to get that case thrown out, but it was thrown out.
Right.
And so they're digging at all these little things to put in the article, and so when Norm didn't have any prison tattoos, and he didn't have a criminal,
you're not sexy enough.
He wasn't
Norm.
even mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they never
that's
even
what happens,
dropped
though.
my name in the article. All
course
you
not.
seen was
Yeah.
my arms giving
Of course
him a
not.
dab.
Yeah, I've been having. That's one of the things I've been working on with a lot of my clients is messaging, and learning how to talk to the media because they will take anything
And spin it.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you ever pay attention to how politicians talk or professional media personalities talk, it's very deliberate. There's certain phrases that they always use. I mean, we all love to be candid here.
Well, hey, and what's interesting
but
is,
you
look,
just can't be candid.
that article came out on a Sunday edition, okay? The legislative session was still on the floor. Monday, they banned the recreational collective.
Yep, I remember that.
The dozen or 15 of us that had incorporated and were already in are all now grandfathered in, and we're still operating. Now, one of those operations did catch a case, MJ Proper, and that's Ed. He is in the exact same model that Lazy Lion is. He's in the exact same model that Blue Mountains is, and he caught a case and went to jail, and he's currently winding through a court case
He was
on that.
pushing the envelope too, mixing weed with beer.
Yeah,
and
he was
trying to
medicating
deliver it.
beer and doing some other things. Yeah,
I mean, and I get the wanting to do that and everything. I mean, but
And then he tried to
it's
deliver
just a little
it.
ahead of the curve.
a
Is the
little
problem.
bit. Yeah, you gotta.
Let's slow down a little bit.
Just come on, dude. Come on, man. That is one of those come on, man
Wait,
moments.
was-
It's like, yo, dude, we
was
just
Ed-
got this. Come
Was
on.
Ed grandfathered in?
He is grandfathered in, and the thing is his company is still legit and on the books, so he can start operating again. And I've talked to Ed,
He was
quite a
just
bit.
breaking the law with the alcohol
Well,
because that's a no-no.
Well, that's a no-no.
And it might not even be that because
Well, yeah, true.
the DA doesn't have any charges to hand him, okay? And they keep trying to plea bargain him down, and he keeps
Well, how you
telling
plea
him.
bargain me if there's no charges?
Well, and that's
I
the
don't
thing, and
understand that.
he keeps telling him that he's not eating the charges, and so they're kind of at a dilemma. They're at a crossroads. So we're going to see where this case plays out because if they end up dropping the charges, okay, that's your precedent case set right there. That basically these recreational collectives that are out there can operate. Now the thing is, when you look at the recreational collective, the operation that we're operating, it's identical to a medical caregiver. Okay,
Right.
we're just not registered with the state. Okay, and we don't provide medicine; we provide recreational cannabis to consumers 21 and up.
It's true.
And
It's
so
true.
the model is identical, and I know it's hard for people to think about that on a recreational plane, but assistance is allowed in the Constitution, which is what we're doing. We're assisting individuals, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You can be from New Zealand. I can send you a document that says I'll grow 6 plants for you. You can fill it out, and I will grow those 6 plants for you. And when you come to Colorado, you can get your reimbursement.
Because doesn't it say in the law that like-minded people can assist other like-minded people in getting marijuana?
That's exactly what it says, and it says I can assist your grow. I can grow for you.
Right. It says all kinds of things in the original law.
Obviously, you guys have done your homework on the way this is done, and I totally commend you because I think it's awesome. I think it's a great business model as long as you guys aren't going to be in trouble for it. And from what it sounds like, from some of the other things we've talked offline about, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean,
well, for me, it's like I got my pom poms on for everybody. Okay, and when I say that, I hear a lot of the Colorado Springs dispensary owners, grumble and moan about Lazy Lion. Okay, Lazy Lion's a recreational collective, and they're only recreational outlet in Colorado Springs because there is no recreational cannabis up there.
There isn't any.
And so they are just crushing the market because of that fact alone. Okay, once recreation opens up in Colorado Springs,
to be a different story.
they won't have that light on them like they do now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And so the glare is really there. And because they're so successful, everybody's like, oh my God.
They're asking us to come down there and open a store so that way it takes all the light off of them.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like, because then we can point our fingers at each other.
But there are multiple spots in Colorado Springs right now that, I mean, it's kind of like they have more like of these collectives.
Clubs, yes, exactly.
Than anywhere else. And I mean, part of that maybe, you're right, is because there is no adult use stores down in the Springs, so that if somebody wants to do it,
they need that outlet in some fashion or other. So the thing is like I have my pom poms on for Lazy Lion, right? I have my pom poms on for medical dispensaries. If that's how you want to sling, cool. Recreational, I'm all about it. Those guys down at Green Faith, those crazy fuckers that are in the church down there, Baker and dude, I got my pom poms on. I'm like, go motherfuckers,
because we're all in the same boat. We believe like all of every one of us.
You're about free the plant and freedom.
Well,
liberty,
you're not like, look,
right?
nobody's hurting anybody, and I think that's the whole point. I think is like, look, I don't care what you're doing if you're not hurting anybody, you're not messing up with society, and I think that's where a lot of people differ. Is they think it's going to destroy society, and it doesn't.
We're going to take a break real soon, but when we come back, I love picking your brain.
Oh, we're going to pick his
politics.
brain.
Yeah, because he's
excellent.
one of my favorite people.
All right, we'll be right back.
Politics.
Thank you, Samantha, for taking us to the break, because I've just
I'm very good at keeping David in check, like my prison bitch.
Bong-a-Thon.
She thinks.
New things are here from Incredibles. Gummies! Our new gummies come 2 to a pack. Each 2-pack contains 100 milligrams of the finest medicine around. What's more, each 50 milligram infused gummy disc is fortified with 100 milligrams of vitamin C for an extra healthful kick. Available in black cherry, green apple, orange strawberry, blue raspberry, and strawberry banana. Gummies, new from Incredibles. Same great flavors, brand new shape, and now fortified with vitamin C.
The Law Office of Edson, Maton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Maton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, we're back. And Samantha, you said you had a question for Mr. Jetter here.
Yeah. So we all know it's an election year. We've got Governor Hickenpooper.
Pooper.
Yeah.
Chicken Looper.
Dickin' Pooper.
Oh, sorry. Are we live?
We are live,
we're
actually.
live.
Internet radio. We can have fun with. We like to have fun with the governor.
On the Republican side, we got Governor Bob Beaupre.
God.
Boo, both ways, Bob. Boo.
Whoa.
And then I don't know if have you heard about the candidate for Liberty and Independence, Governor Donovan. Or Mayor Donovan, actually. He's mayor of Glendale. Have you guys heard of him yet?
No, I haven't, but I would be interested
He's
to
a
hear.
pro-cannabis, pro-gay marriage.
We having him on in a couple of weeks?
Control. Yeah, we're going to get him on the radio here
Because
soon.
we have a guest next week.
But what do you think about a third-party viability candidate?
Well,
these
for
days?
one, I think I would like to talk to him for one, okay? And the second thing is, I think the viability is there. Look, everybody's tired of the goddamn circus, you know what I mean? And so everybody wants something that's tangible and somebody that can get in office and do something, and I don't think we really care what it is as long as they can take a direction and go.
But, one of the things that drives me crazy on the third party, because I wish there was just no party so everyone would listen to each person, is that there's still going to be on either side, Republicans, Democrats, people that are just going to vote on their party line and not pay attention to the person. So whoever the third party is, if they favor more of the viewpoint of one party or the other, it usually hurts that party because those people are like, well, I'd rather my person be like this, so I'm going to go with him.
But don't you think that these days politics are so blended? I mean, you've now come full circle. You've literally come full circle with this anti-government, liberty, liberals. The left have now merged with the far right. When you got your
it's a circle now. It's not a line.
It's definitely a circle now. You have your Glenn Greenwalds pairing up with your Rand Pauls.
Yeah,
sitting there arguing against NSA and
No, I firmly believe you can become so liberal that you become conservative.
Yeah,
it's
vice versa. Yeah.
Well, the thing to me is, I think that politics is so money and it's so wrapped up in money. I guess the thing for me is that the American system works, okay? And the reason it does work, and I can prove to you that it works, is because we're sitting here smoking weed legally, for one. and two, you do have a black president in the House, okay?
True.
If it was all lined up and fixed, rich, old, and white would have got in again.
But he was still on a mainstream ticket, right?
Again, okay, but the thing is I think you can shape that through the grassroots. The problem is all the public and all of the people that have been, our sheep, if you will, they've all been asleep at the wheel. Nobody shows up on voting day. You know what I mean? Like, we'll all talk a mean game.
Well, what do you think
But
about
if they
the
do, they just vote for party line without knowing who they are.
But
That's
what do
the
you think
problem.
about the advent of social media, right? Being able to tap into this young demographic, which is now a larger voting bloc than the boomers.
Well, and I think it's a bigger impact now even than it was during Obama's election on the first one and probably even on the second one. So I think like the targeted audience, sure has some footing, but I think the thing more than anything is I think there's enough people out there that could vote, like could show up on voting day, that aren't necessarily Democratic or Republican. They're just normal people, okay?
Well, I think
that
that's true.
if they all just showed up and got involved on voting day, that you could really vote within some issues and not within party lines.
And in Colorado, you actually don't even have to show up. You just have to register to vote.
Yeah, and then you can
because
mail
they
it.
will mail you your ballot. So your lazy stoner ass can rip a bomb.
Never have to leave the home.
Fill out your spaces.
And
seal up the envelope. Blow the smoke out.
Yeah,
and you're done.
And
Which is why probably Amendment 64 passed, because they were like, oh, yeah, of course. I don't even have to leave the house. Here you go.
and to me, that's always what it's been about. Like, to me, the stoners are the ones that will stand on the sidewalk all day and they'll hand out their sign with the big marijuana leaf and they'll tell you how fucking unjust it is and how bad it is. But on Tuesday morning in November, their asses sit at home asleep, smoking some weed or lighting their patchouli incense or what the hell ever. You know what I mean? Like, I get that you want to be political and you want to be active, but that includes showing up on voting day.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And if you do have an agenda, if you don't like Hickenlooper, which, I'm fed up with that dude. You thought he was going to come in and do a good job, and man, he's been a joke.
I don't understand how he's a Democrat. We talked about this last week, but could somebody explain to me how Hickenlooper's a Democrat?
Because he has a big D after his name.
I guess that's the only thing I can explain, because being a beer
That's what it
baron
is. That's
and
it. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, he's as Republican as they get, really.
Yeah.
But
He's he's pro oil and gas.
Yeah.
More, he's against the
Pro alcohol.
pro alcohol.
Very pro-alcohol.
He really
Holy
hates
crap.
marijuana. Have you heard about the campaign that they're going to run for the marijuana
Lab-rat.
youth substance prevention
yeah,
campaign?
and let's take all that money that all these stoners just gave us that we raised, and let's go put it into drug prevention programs so we can keep kids from not getting on pot.
Not even drug prevention programs. Ostentatious building of rat cages around park benches, bus stop benches.
You know what?
Where the homeless people sleep, right?
We could just take that money and start building a solar roadway program.
And that's the thing. I think if people get active,
This
look,
is David.
people in the community were willing to go get the signatures.
Hey, why not?
To pass this thing, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And we did that. I mean,
Yeah.
I was out there active. I was pressing flesh and getting signatures and making people vote. So that kind of activism, I think even if it is in Facebook or wherever the hell you get your information, go act on it. You can't just be complacent in this world and raise your fist and be like, oh my God, I hate what you're doing. I hate how you're doing it. And then, just blow it off and forget about it. You know?
That's why it took, 20 years? Because everyone's just sitting around in a circle like, dude, pot should be totally legal.
You got it, bro.
Wouldn't that be great? And then, they do nothing about it.
Well, don't forget there's also a faction of the community that doesn't want marijuana to be legal. They prefer
absolutely.
keeping it under the ground and in the shadows.
Well, because they
hate
make more money
government.
with it
Well,
being
they're-
in black
well, they're
market,
also
too.
anarchists
Well,
and
of
they hate
course.
the government.
And there was a huge temperance
always
movement, too, before prohibition of alcohol. And
Yep.
They just did a study in Texas, said that there's 43% of Texans want it just to be legal.
Yeah.
Not even decrim in Texas.
Right,
even
just
decriminalize.
legalize it.
Right
for
now,
any reason.
the Gallup poll from October of last year said 58% of the United States says legal. Just legalize it.
And what is
Right.
interesting about that Gallup poll is
Well, that's actually made up.
if you watch that Gallup poll over the spread of time,
Yeah.
as soon as we got past the 51%, we got legalization in 2 states.
Yep.
And it was instant, right on that timeline.
So, there's a movement going on. I mean, the FDA is looking at rescheduling.
They should just take it off the schedule.
That's exactly my point.
But do you think that big pharmaceuticals will allow for that to happen when
just
they'll
take
be
it off
able
the
to
schedule?
control it as a medicine?
This is my point about marijuana. Marijuana is like water. It flows through every crook, cranny, crevice, and it takes the path of least resistance. Okay, so yeah, you can reschedule it and tell the farmies that they can only have it. But is that going to stop every stoner from growing plants?
And it does, and all it will do is still exacerbate the incarceration problem, because you're going to have people again handling a substance that they're not supposed to handle.
Wait a minute,
like you do with pharmaceutical pills.
We just made something illegal again that we just made legal. Exactly. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you can't do that. And I think the popularity of it, I don't think would go over. I know, look, you got some huge dispensaries coming online now. They're starting to get some political might. They're starting to get bank accounts filling up. They're not going to want to just hand it over to a pharmaceutical company.
That's the thing is, everyone's talking about big marijuana. That big marijuana hasn't come yet.
Not yet.
It's
coming.
Happening.
It's
happening.
It's
in its
spread
infancy.
out too. That's
It's
the
in its
other
infancy.
Well, that's the other problem too, is when you look at all these other industries, they've had years and decades to sort of concentrate themselves
Absolutely.
into maybe 4 or 5 corporations that control that. But marijuana, it's still very spread out, and I hope it stays that way. I hope it is just
I think the
thousands
nature of
of
it
billionaires instead of 5
I
billionaires.
think the nature of marijuana itself is going to help it stay spread out. As experience consumers, as an experience, don't want to go to a Walmart of weed. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the way I continue to wrap my head around it. Okay, let's look at alcohol. Okay, real simply. Okay, let's consider everybody that in your group of peers. It's probably like 50-50 who drinks and 50-50 who smokes. Okay, or somewhere in there. So if you look at marijuana like alcohol and say it has to grow into those shoes, okay, when you walk into a liquor store, for one, okay, it's all liquor, it's alcohol, it's liquid on the shelves, okay. Marijuana goes beyond liquid. You've got edibles, balms, rubs, candies, all of these other items that are above and beyond alcohol. Now, when you go to, say, your street corner, Anytown, USA, I live in Buckley and Aurora, for example, which is close to my house. I got 2 liquor stores on either corner, okay? For sure, there's liquor in both those. There's a King Soopers on the corner. There's alcohol in that King Soopers.
There's alcohol in that King Soopers?
There is, okay.
The 3-2 beer, or are they one of the
whatever, it doesn't matter what the quantity is or the level.
Well,
there's alcohol in
yeah.
there, okay. Now, there's 3 or 4 restaurants on that corner, or 5 restaurants in the little strip malls in that, okay. And every single one of those restaurants serves alcohol, okay. And so when you look at, say, just a small footprint like that, there's a lot of damn alcohol on that damn corner.
Sure.
And so when marijuana does grow into that footprint, there's going to be a lot of damn marijuana in a lot of different places as well.
And there's enough alcohol to kill 1 out of 7 Coloradans, apparently. Did you hear that statistic?
That's not even possible.
No, 1 out of 7 Colorado deaths in Colorado are attributed to alcohol. That was a study
1 out of
that
7
came out.
deaths. Okay, I thought you said 1 out of 7 Coloradans were going to die from alcohol.
Well, 1 out of 7
I was like,
deaths.
dude, that's scary. Somebody's going to die in this room. No.
Yeah, probably me.
No, there's only 6 of us in this room.
That's
good.
true. Oh,
We're
we're
good.
good. Next person who walks
That's
in.
right.
Oh, Nick
dead.
No,
just
that's my kid, man.
That's messed up. No, but yeah, I mean, the stat is across the country, 88, this is from the CDC, 88,000 deaths a year are attributed to alcohol.
1 out of 10.
What's
right?
it?
I think it's
It
1
works
out
out
of
to
10
1
nationwide.
every 6 minutes.
But 1 out of 10 people, I think.
1 out of 10 people who die.
Who
are
die
dying
from
We'll have
alcohol.
it,
Yeah.
alcohol-related.
But yeah, it's 1 person every 6 minutes is basically that's a death from alcohol.
Well, and so if you look at alcohol, think about if you go to the shittiest shithole bar in Anytown, USA, beer, alcohol,
Everywhere.
whiskey, right?
Yep.
You go to a $1 million a plate fundraising event with the highest end
Alcohol.
political. Yeah, alcohol. I mean, it's everywhere. And so for me, cannabis will get there, okay? We're still in this infancy. We're still jumping over these moral hurdles. You can't smoke it in public. Oh my God. Think about when Prohibition ended. Do you think you were rolling up into an Outback Steakhouse and sitting down and having a beer in front of your kids?
No, I mean, it took a while. It definitely took a while.
You see what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those concepts will take time to develop and
So you
So you think
need
it'll be
in.
like oxygen bars because people don't want the smell. There's gonna be people who would go. So then you'll have just a little cannabis bar that there's a tube.
I think
you
it'd be
just
more
breathe
like
right
a
in.
cigar bar, but yeah.
So more like a
I
cigar
think,
bar.
honestly, David, about the whole smell and odor issue, I really do think that it's eventually going to become like Greeley, where you just sort of become immune to the smell.
Well, like cigarette
I do.
smoke, but to me, it's less. It's not as nasty
That
as
place
cigarette smoke.
smell bad. That place stinks. Have you ever been
Yes,
to Greeley?
it does.
It's
I would
gross.
imagine if you don't smoke any weed or you're offended by the smell and you roll down I-70 and you're stuck in rush hour traffic
You're gonna
over by the
smell
Green
weed.
Solution,
Absolutely.
and you're like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
what is dead on
Better
the
not.
Because
highway?
you can
But it's-
smell the Green Solution.
Oh, dude, every time
can.
you roll by there,
It's
you can
great.
smell it.
You know what's funny? You go down I-70, you can smell the Purina dog factory.
And then you can smell the
you
weed
smell Green
factory.
Solution.
Here's the difference, though. You can be on 270 right before you get to York Street, and you can smell the Purina plant on 270.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
I've
walk over
smelled
there.
that
It
Purina
can.
plant from downtown on 17th and Champa Street.
Yeah.
That thing
It can
is
be bad.
nasty.
It is. I'd
Nasty.
much rather smell
It
the Green
is.
Solution.
Oh yeah, that too. The pigger.
I would.
It makes me wonder, do the dogs that live around there like gag when they smell Purina or what?
I know, right? Well, I know when I drive with my dog on I-70, he does perk
Oh,
up.
I know. My dog does too.
does.
It's like, whoa.
And he doesn't
what
even
is
eat that stuff, but he's still like, I think I'm supposed to like that, you know?
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, the industry, I think, to me is just like it's so in its infancy. It's so
It is.
small now, and what's crazy is we're all kind of like jockeying for position. All these dispensary owners and everybody's trying to jockey for.
But in every
But
industry.
they don't need to because
and
there's
that's
going to
exactly
be
it.
enough demand.
No,
There's
and
going
that's
to be enough demand.
And that's just
Do you
it.
think
You don't
so?
need
Do you
to.
think
Yeah.
there's going to be enough demand?
Yeah, I do.
Because so we have all these licensed companies coming in because they just opened up licenses for non-vertical integrated companies. So
Well,
you can be a
for new
wholesaler.
entrants in
For
the
new
market,
entrants, you can
yeah.
be a wholesaler or a
Permissibly.
retailer. You don't have to do both,
Yeah.
which makes it easier for entry level for anybody. And then the first licenses are going to be supposedly given out in the beginning of October.
They're going to be given out in Aurora because I've got 2 apps going in. They'll be given out on
What ward are you applying in?
1 and 3.
Nice.
Oh, you're in Ward
You're
3
in.
too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh no.
You got someone else going in Ward 3?
I got a client going into Ward 3.
yeah, got
and
one
he's
going in
probably
Ward
going to
3.
nail it. Don't get me wrong. But then there's 3 other spots for you, Jenner. Don't worry. I got this.
But you know, but here's the thing though. There's going to be the supply issues that we're having right now are most likely going to either diminish or go away where we start having more of a surplus.
See, I don't think so. This is the thing. To me, it's all becoming localized, okay? It's like a liquor store.
Right.
Look, you don't want to drive to Boulder to get a sack of weed like I did when I was 17 and we couldn't find any weed, okay?
And the worst people who are going to be suffering, in my opinion, are going to be the ones who do try to do a Walmart of weed because
Well, this is the thing. To me, look, you're at home. You run out of weed. You need a sack of weed, okay? If the Green Solution down the street is the closest place and they've got good weed and good prices, you're going to drive down there, okay? You're going to buy it. If your boy Norm here lives right down the street and he's got a bunch of fat sacks and he's willing to sell them to you, you're going to go talk to Norm, okay? It's where the demand is and where you're willing to go get it, okay? You don't want to drive across town to get it
Exactly,
anymore.
yeah.
You don't want to sit in your dealer's basement while he's waiting for his kid, his 3-year-old, to
No.
quit picking his nose so you can go get your sack of weed. You know, like that. All of that kind of
Right.
thing is dissolving away. So if you have a professional establishment that is close to your house that is giving you good prices, you're going to go shop
But
there.
it's also going to be a quality factor too,
It's gonna
which
be a
is
quality
why I
factor,
don't
of course.
think.
And I agree
which
with
is
you
why I
100%.
don't think these Walmart of weed types, and I don't think Walmart's actually the correct analogy. I think it's more of like the bud. We'll call it natty ice, you know, where you can mass produce just gross piss water. you
Yeah,
know?
but what you're looking at it through is still the lenses of vertical integration.
Yes.
Okay, you got to understand when vertical integration goes through in October. Okay, you're going to have companies like Blue Mountains who, let's say, we concentrate on our chem dog, and that's all we do is grow chem dog, and we grow a really good chem dog.
Which is how I actually see a lot
Well,
of
now
people
you're looking
doing
at
it. I see
labels. You're
people-
looking at like
Yeah.
just like wine.
Exactly, and I'm going to
and-
put it in a package. I'm going to put it
Perfect.
in a can. I'm going to put it in your
I want
dispensary,
Blue
and your
Mountain's Chem
dispensary, and your
Dog
dispensary,
every single
and you'll
time.
know
Yep.
exactly what's in there.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be because one of the problems I've been seeing in the recreational market is the Durban poison I buy at Denver Relief isn't the same kind of Durban poison that I'm buying at 3D, which isn't the same kind of Durban poison that I'm buying at Natty Rems.
No,
Like,
'cause, no,
it's
they're
just
not. I mean,
yeah,
think
but
about
you want that kind of
Think about
quality,
a
though.
pilsner, though.
Yeah.
Is every pilsner that you buy on a liquor store the
Yeah,
same?
I was just
No,
gonna say,
but
or
I-
every
same thing with
pilsner's
Merlot.
different.
I mean,
you may like one particular
Yeah.
pilsner.
Right, but even the same time, like some of them are suffering from inconsistency even in their own strains.
Yeah,
But if you can nail down a strain like that, and then once the vertical integration goes away,
Yep.
and you can take your specialty strain and sell it, I would love. And that's the other thing that sucks too. Like I want to be able to go to a store and be able to buy maybe like the Clinic's Tange or Denver Relief's Durban Poison,
Exactly.
or Natty Rem's,
Right.
Chem Dog,
And
like
this
whatever
is the thing.
it is.
When
yeah.
you got a warehouse and you've got 50 strains in them, okay, and you're running one newt system, okay, not all 50 strains like that newt system.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them really like it, and some of them really don't. And so for, even though we're, 4.5 now, almost 5 years through this whole legal process,
Yep.
if you will, man, it's still in the infancy. They've only gone through 12, 15 crops, 20 crops total.
So
I know,
through that
it's gonna
time
be
I
period.
think that's an
insane,
interesting
so.
idea, though. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I mean, I get that do separate labeling, but so do you see like an advantage for both companies? Say if like Denver Relief and the clinic decided to say, okay, you're going to have some of our strain, we're going to have some of yours, so our customers all get to taste each other's, but we still have our own retail store. Do you
Yeah.
think that something like that's going to be happening more?
I do think that what you'll start to see is you'll definitely still see some vertically integrated people, because there are people that, like, for example, I know we keep bringing it up, Denver Relief, like they just have one location and they have, they're consistent.
they're very consistent.
But when you have people like, the clinic's got 6 or 7, Strain-wise has got 6 or 7 locations, it could probably be a little bit inconsistent,
Okay.
And so I think sometimes those, like if you got 6 or 7 locations, to me that would behoove you to be more of a retail store and then start taking in sometimes other people's
So you say
strains.
we have our private label, but here are some labels from other people. I get it.
Exactly.
And I think
exactly.
you need to look at it like this. I think I've got a good model for you. Look at the difference between Budweiser, okay, that has a huge brewery up in Fort Collins. They pump out Bud Light,
Yep.
okay, whatever, 2, 3 beers, if you will, okay.
And they have like some like bunch of other little
Okay,
tiny
you're with
stuff,
me.
but yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Or you go to Breckenridge Brew that has like their 6 brands on the shelf, but will they sell you a Bud or a Bud Light? Absolutely. Okay. And so you need to shift the focus there. You're going to have, say, a River Rock or somebody that's going to be huge, okay? And think about Pabst Blue Ribbon. Is it shitty beer? Yeah, it's shitty beer.
Whoa.
It's shitty beer, okay? It's shitty beer. It's low budget,
It's
low grade beer.
Nice hipster beer.
But is it manufactured in a low grade facility?
No.
No. It's a high end
Absolutely.
brewery that is producing shitty beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's what it is.
Or lower grade beer, whatever you want.
Whatever you wanna
because
call
they
it.
can mass produce it cheaper.
And
blah,
so
blah, blah,
there's going to be a divide between these big warehouses that are producing, say, an average strain that produces big at maybe 15, 16%. That's consistent. Okay.
Commercial weed, we'll call it.
If you
Indoor
will.
commercial
Yeah,
weed.
yeah.
Or you're going to have your Breckenridge Brewery, your dispensaries that specialize
Because-
in 5 or 6 lines, and they're going to have their top 5 or 6 lines dialed
Yeah.
in,
So
and they'll
So
buy
should we
your-
start calling
your
it like
commercial weed.
in the beer world? You have your imports, domestics, and then your craft microbrews.
So
Do you
we
think
could be
we'll come
calling
up
it
with
craft
something like
plants,
that?
craft
Correct.
strain.
Correct.
So do you think that like
Cultured strains.
So because right now a lot of dispensaries are making like 20, 30 strains,
Yeah.
which that does put some strain on the growers and the grow rooms, and it takes.
Well, and the product starts tasting the same when it's all being cultured in the same room, it's being cured in the same room, and then it's being packaged and distributed in the same room. You can have like all of these strains, but they all start tasting the same.
And then you also hear horror stories about people that are just like, oh, Durban Poison always sells well. We're just going to always label this as Durban Poison,
Well,
even
and
though it's clearly not, or something.
And that's
like
coming
that,
back to
which is,
professionals because, you
exactly,
can
but-
probably sell anything to a tourist and tell them what it is, and they'll buy it because they don't know any different. But if you hand an OG like me a Durban Poison and tell me it's a flow, I'm going to tell you you're crazy. You know what I mean?
We had this discussion the other night with our buddy, and he kept telling us that we will never make it in a small company because of the fact of outdoor grows is where you can grow the most weed for the cheapest price. And I said, yeah,
So
but
what?
it goes back to generic beer.
Yeah.
I said, if I did drink beer, I'm not going to go buy a 6-pack of generic beer
Exactly.
when I
Oh.
like chronic.
And
I
my
think a lot of
experience
people
of
are- yeah.
outdoor is it doesn't taste as good. I've had, the
Right.
effect
No,
can
it
be
doesn't.
just as good.
Yeah.
But the taste doesn't
tastes
necessarily.
and it's the
outdoors.
wind and the dirt and
It
everything
does.
that beats it up.
And I
It's
get it
weathered.
tastes earthy. It does taste earthy.
weathered.
Maggie's Farm does outdoor. I
Oh,
happen to really like it's such a Bill's 100% organic too, which
Now,
is
Yeah,
like
but
really
there's a
nice.
difference between outdoor and a greenhouse. Too.
I gotta
Oh,
say,
absolutely.
And
Not
I'm
the
talking about
same.
flavor too. The effects sometimes. I haven't noticed. If they're done well, it's done well. But like it is the flavor.
And even the effects can be better on outdoors sometimes.
I'm sure
you know what I mean?
it affects the aroma a
But
little
you know,
bit
when
too,
you go to
absolutely.
wine, like I studied wine for a long time, and it was like you would have a flavor called Barnyard that was considered like a really amazing flavor to have in wine, and it is when it's like a really high heart. It does. It tastes like a farm. And that's like there's no better way to describe it. But a lot of people would taste that and be like, well, that tastes like crap.
Well, see, that's why I always think it's going to be
subjective.
more like wine too, because
It
I
is.
think you are going to have a more like wine tends to be geared towards more connoisseurs. Where like beer, only recently you've seen this big surge in craft brews,
I
right?
see
Where
it-
people really enjoy their pilsners and their stouts and things
I
like
see
that.
it more like alcohol in general, okay? And let me break it down. I see flowers being like beer, okay? I see BHOs and hash oils being like cognacs and whiskeys,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then some waterpresses kind of like wine in the middle, okay? And so the thing is to me, you're going to have in flower market for one, okay? You're going to have 3 grades of flower. You're going to have outdoor crops, okay? That's going to be your cheap OG Reggie, $10 sacks, whatever. Fat sacks, it's going to be OG. It's going to be good effect. It's not going to have the greatest taste.
Pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
You're going to have greenhouse weed, okay, which is going to be powered by the sun, which is going to be basically hydroponic plants, okay, which has good aroma, good flavor, and produces a lot. Okay, and those are going to be medium priced. Okay, and there's going to be some good flavors in there that you can pick through. And then, if you will, you're going to have your indoors, your Crown Royals, your King Louis VIII,
Stinky funk.
and they're going to be hand trimmed down. They're going to be perfectly displayed in your sack or your package or whatever you're getting, and you're going to spend more money for that. And,
absolutely.
And that's to me where like the flower market goes. Cognac or the BHO market the same way. You're going to have rot gut whiskey, which is going to be some basic butane hash oil that they're producing off of something
or like
that's
Skull vodka, yeah.
And then you're going to have
your
some
Kettle
really
Wines, your Greg. In case you can't tell I'm a vodka drinker.
Yeah, but in that realm, I feel like that's one of the reasons why the cannabis industry as a whole is going to stay more in the small batch kind of feel, because honestly, in a way, it's more cost effective for me as a smoker, because like if I buy like a connoisseur grade quality, I smoke less of it at a time because I savor it, I taste a little bit. It's usually really strong, and I can usually chill out with less hits, so it goes further. So sometimes to me, it's more cost effective than to buy the low grade, which you have to smoke more of.
It's crazy.
And then if you're also and if you're a habitual smoker, I want to say habitual smoker, right? Chronic smoker, if you will.
Yes.
If you smoke dirt weed, like it gives you a headache, it makes you cough.
It's like buying the swill,
especially when
from
you
the
can
well.
taste like the chemicals on it,
Yep.
and like I smoked some pot the other day that was just like I could taste the chemicals.
We-
on it.
we've got
David
a-
hates the word pot. I'm sorry, David. Cannabis.
No, I don't hate the word pot. Look, and what my point is, like as a media representative, I make sure that my writers, unless they're doing like an op-ed, and then they have free reign because it's an op-ed, but if they're doing journalism, we try not to refer to it as pot, weed, all those things,
slang terms.
unless it's used like sparingly. Because my complaint with the mainstream media is all they'll say is pot, weed, and if you change those words to the meanings for booze, all you'd hear them say is hooch, swill,
Yep. You got it.
booze, and it would
Yep.
sound
Mommy's
stupid.
happy juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, cannabis is the equivalent of using the word alcohol
I know,
or
I know.
liquor. Yep. That's the way I look at it.
So there was this, Jane West has been doing that Women's Grow networking thing. We did this yoga class last Sunday, and part of before the yoga was a really great session with Max Thompson, who's been working on a entrepreneur program. So the entrepreneurs are basically like a sommelier. Sommelier. I can never say that word. I hate that word. Of cannabis. I guess that's the word, like a monger is for cheese. I forget. A growler is for craft brews. And then
Yes.
like a cupper is for coffee, I believe. Things like that. So,
Cupper,
a cupper's coffee. Not your kind of cupper, you little homo, you.
you said cupper and you went like this, and I was like,
She did go
that's,
like that.
That
I know,
sounds
like
like a whole.
instinct.
So
is
what
that
are
more like a
wieners
porn?
called? Bowlers?
Instinct, guys. Instinct.
Okay.
But anyway, so he's come up with this entrepreneur class where he's taking people, which, if you're in California, sommelier class costs, a few grand.
Yes.
And you have to, and they're weeks-long courses.
Well, because there's a lot to learn.
I think with the same thing with cannabis. I think that it would take you weeks of intensive like learning how to learning how to identify the fruity smells versus sagey smells versus like lemony versus
or just identify
orange.
the
I
difference.
agree. I agree.
Sativas versus indicas, even the most.
But
basic,
you have to understand on the sommelier side, and I'm not saying that they're not equivalent. They are, but like on the sommelier side, there's all of this written history that you have to learn when it comes to this kind of thing. This one comes from this vineyard that's been around for 700 years in Italy.
No, we can get there.
We don't have that.
No, but we need to be writing that.
But
and
we
that's
need to be
that's
writing
we
and
need to be
developing that.
we
But
need
in
to
the
develop
meantime,
that.
We
if you
do.
don't think that, like, then fine. For in the meantime, you can supplement that part with like educating people also about prohibition and give them some like history lessons, Jack Herr style, you know. But like, I do think that like. You know, he was teaching us how to smell, how to identify powdery mildew, how to identify, you know, what it looks like when they haven't been flushed properly, because you can smell like
And
that
you
really.
can see the sparks coming off the weed.
It smells like really earthy. Well, we didn't get to that. I mean, we only had an hour, and like just in an hour, I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface.
You know what? I need to talk to him because I like to have guest speakers talk to all of my judges before they judge. For
Oh,
the
that
Hemp
would
Connoisseur
be. I think he
Championship.
would be perfect.
So I
for
would
that.
like him to be the guest speaker for our judges.
But just to like learn all that stuff, I mean, I want to now like pay money to like go to a 6-week class and learn everything, you know?
Well, back to what he was saying, you know, example is at Blue Mountains, we're not going to have a big, huge warehouse. We have small grows that don't have more than 15 plants in each room because you can control everything in that room that
and
way.
the quality that comes out of those small rooms is
and
so
how many
much better.
strains are you looking at developing?
One in each room.
One in each room. Okay.
Maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
So
Gotcha. So that's perfect. I mean, I like the idea of specializing it too.
And the thing is when you look at how big the market is, if it does have to grow into the alcohol market that we see today, the shoes are so vast. I mean, it's so huge. Like you just got to go out there and start stabbing at it.
Well, I think that's the thing that people don't realize. There's a reason why big alcohol lobbies have been fighting the legalization of cannabis for a long time, is because it is a replacement substance.
It is.
You know,
Well, they
and
just
you
did-
can do them together.
But they just did
But it
that
is a
article that
replacement.
came out that said none of Colorado's alcohol sales have seen any kind
You
of...
know, and
right,
it's funny,
drinkers
but-
are going to drink and smokers are going to smoke.
But let's speak to that point. There has been an increase in tourism in Colorado. But yet the alcohol has not decreased, but we've had more people here. So that has balanced it out. I think if you took out tourists and their alcohol consumption, you would realize that the alcohol sales have dipped
I
in
would
Colorado.
have to read the article more specifically. I just sort of skimmed
Gotta
it.
look
And
at
maybe
the
they
numbers.
took that into account in the study, David.
I know crime dropped.
Crime
Hell
dropped
yeah.
66%. Violent crime,
Well,
66%.
when you
66%,
walk
that's a
into a
pretty big
huge
number.
liquor store, I know that one of the things you look at it and think through to yourself is, Jesus Christ, there's more alcohol in this freaking building than you could possibly ever drink.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, have you ever been to
Absolutely.
the one up in Thornton?
That doesn't happen
The
for you in a
largest
dispensary,
one
does
that's
it?
in the-
No.
It's huge. And they have this whole section just for wine. I've never seen so much
They're
wine
not
in
gonna
my
go
entire
away.
life. No.
No, they're not going to go away. I agree. I think
Yeah.
we will take a chunk out of their market.
I hope it doesn't go away. I like my...
Oh, no.
alcohol.
Alcohol ain't going
Like I
anywhere.
say, it's not
anywhere.
going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
No,
Long live alcohol.
And again,
too.
when, you know-
Just kidding, kids. Don't do that.
Yeah, but look, like I said, we've had more tourists here, and that's why I think that it hasn't dipped, because the more tourists has helped us.
Well, and it's like,
on-
what,
That's
100
it's a fair assessment. but
And
I'd have to read
even
this.
the 170 metric tons that they reported that has already been consumed or whatever. Okay.
insane, yeah.
Now think about that. That's only dispensary weed. Think about all the rural areas that nobody's got a dispensary in, and they're going to see somebody like Norm to grab a sack of weed.
Yeah.
How many metric
Allegedly going
how
to
ma-
see
how many
somebody like
how many
Allegedly, thank God.
how many metric
come
tons
see me after
has
the show.
Norm allegedly
He's
spun
like, don't
out?
be throwing me into this example.
Norm and I are going to go hang out later.
But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, you know, just
It's
came out
staggering.
today that Oregon is they're projecting that they could make $58 million in revenue a year by legalizing recreational.
Well, of course,
things.
because California can't get their shit together.
California is looking like $1 trillion in revenue if they fully legalize.
But they're never going to
which
get it
is-
done before 2016 because they have to fix their medical regulations first.
But why? Why not just
Because
start? You know what? Just bust it
just-
down and redo the wheel.
Well, what they need to
can't.
do is they need to do as a constitutional amendment to the California Constitution, just like Colorado did,
Exactly.
instead of this Prop 215 bullshit
you're
that
right.
they got
it
on
is.
there
And
now.
the same, Washington State's having the same issue because they didn't
Yeah.
make an amendment.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
When they made alcohol legal, you know, when they lifted prohibition on alcohol, how long did illegal alcohol still continue to run?
Oh, because it had to be. Where else were you going to get it? Just like here when we first started. How else did you get it?
Well, exactly. They've just recently been putting moonshine on the shelves. That's still till recently was really illegal to get that shit.
Yeah. Well, and Greeley up there, that was a dry county up through like 1969.
Oh yeah, there's a county in I think Dallas-Fort Worth is actually dry.
There are still dry counties. Yeah,
Dallas-Fort Worth is dry.
There's dry counties.
No, I grew up there. Fort Worth is not dry.
Fort Worth's on Dallas is though. Like there's certain areas.
There's dry counties in Tennessee. I know that for a fact.
There's still a lot
what kind of dry
counties?
counties? You can get alcohol in a restaurant in Dallas.
Yep.
You know, there's no liquor stores or
no liquor at all in the dry counties in Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know in Texas in Dallas, but I do know that like people have to drive significantly in Dallas to go find liquor.
Is it illegal to bring that liquor back into your home?
I doubt it.
No, it's like
don't sell it.
You just can't sell it.
But yeah, Tennessee is actually an example we use at the legislature when we were talking about the local control and opt-out option they were talking about how Tennessee is one of the biggest whiskey distillery states in the country. Yet they have all these dry counties, which is hilarious.
Which is weird. Funny. It is what it is. The marketplace is going to be fantastically huge. We're barely scratching the surface now. And the thing is like you haven't even begun to start opening the dialogue about interstate
commerce.
Interstate commerce hasn't happened.
Yeah, I'm working on that one. That's going to be fun.
Well, it's going to happen for hemp first, I think. It's going to be much easier for hemp, and that's going to be great.
Well, there's only one hurdle with hemp, and that's just the seed. After it's processed, David.
And if we could get a couple states around us to pass some recreational laws, I guarantee we could get some things on the table. If we get New Mexico to pass recreational, we'd be rolling it right down I-25.
Or even started off with Mexico, or not Mexico, medical. Started off with the medical, and New Mexico actually is
I gotta say they are medical, and so is Arizona.
They have Mexico's medical. Nevada. They actually have a supply problem.
Yeah,
they do. They the way they wrote their rules in New
because
Mexico,
they didn't have enough dispensaries. Massachusetts, by the way, is going to have one of the worst supply problems in the country.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
20, I think now. Its first was 30, now 20. Yeah. I feel bad for all my fellow massholes out there because, you guys are going to have a hard time getting it.
It's just like me and him always say. If they legalized weed right now, tomorrow, nationwide, there would not be enough weed in the United States to supply everybody.
That's probably, yes. Yeah, that's true.
Well, and think about
maybe there was. It just you can't find it.
It would drive the price up.
It would drive the price up.
Well, and what's interesting is all the people that will try marijuana now that it's legal. Of
course.
They're like, oh, yeah, I want to try some now that it's legal, And so you got all these people that are now just trying it just because it's legal.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but we still have issues. I mean, in Colorado, you can still, if you work at a certain company, get drug tested and fired for smoking cannabis.
Period. End of story. But if you work at certain companies and they have an alcohol policy and you get caught drinking, you can get fired too.
But that's drinking on the job.
But
not drinking.
The key to
the day before. I'm talking about smoking cannabis the night
policy
before
and the workplace problem is once we get the NFL to change their policy, it's over. That's policy.
We're getting there, though, aren't we?
I know.
We've been forcing the issue with them. I know that.
Absolutely.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They're sniffing around it. It's happening.
Yeah. I don't think they have a choice in the matter. I think that they're going to have to do it.
So Bong-a-Thon I missed it at the beginning. Can you guys tell me when it is again?
It is not this weekend, which is the pre-party.
Uh-huh.
The pre-party is going to be down the 710 Social Club Saturday, 7 p.m.
Where is the 710 Social Club?
9975 East Colfax.
Okay.
And so you can come down there. We'll have an open dab bar. We'll have kegs down there. We'll have tickets to the party. We're going to be doing Fastest Gram down there, too.
Saturday?
This Saturday.
Speaking of Fastest Grams.
Oh, yeah, Samantha, we voted that you were going to have to do that.
What? That
because
sounds
you were
like
the last
horseshit.
person.
We've already got to wait out.
I have to go to a fundraiser.
Then you just need to go with a little buzz. You'll be all right.
I try to be
I will not be driving. I will be calling an Uber.
We were saying, Chris, our producer, is probably down for it.
But the Bong-a-Thon is the first weekend in August.
First
which
week
would
in
be
August.
The following weekend, that's 8, 1, and 2.
Yep.
And so if you're coming up for the weekend, you can come up Thursday. You can come up Friday if you want. If you do plan on coming up Saturday, however, I suggest you be there by noon because that's when the Bong-a-Thon starts. So if you actually want to see the competitions go down, you need to be there by noon.
Plus, you get better campsites on Thursday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I already said all my people are going up on Thursday. I'm like, you're heading it up.
I will not be able to make it.
No, I know.
I have to be at the Denver County Fair speaking for hemp, actually.
I think you should Skype in from.
You should come
Bong-a-Thon.
in. You should come up Saturday. And at least
I'm gonna
witness the
try.
Bong-a-Thon.
I am gonna try to come up maybe Saturday or Sunday. I gotta find some
I
people.
took
to
your
come
pass
out.
Daniel's
away.
coming up Saturday, and I think
Pass
he's.
away.
You took my pass away.
You said you weren't going to come. I have plenty
Well,
of people
now
who
I
want to
just
go.
got invited.
Too late.
This
I
is
can't take it back.
bullshit.
We can get you
Sorry.
squared away.
There you
It'll be
go.
all right.
See?
We got you covered, Sam.
Anything to upset Sam
Yeah,
by the end of the
But
show.
Daniel
like
DeSalis, Daniel DeSalis is working the
If you
fair, and he's
smoke
coming
this
to the party
gram,
Saturday. So you could hitch a ride with him.
Get a ride with Daniel.
All right,
You gonna do it?
I'll try it.
Get over here.
Oh,
Not
crap.
online, not on television.
Oh, you
though.
got to do it online.
No,
We make all the hosts.
I might have a political career ahead of me.
All right, we'll
You
go
don't
to-
even
we'll
know.
go
I'm
to
gonna run for
break.
office someday.
Well, yeah, we're done on the
Samantha
show.
for governor. I know. Plus, it's the end of the show. Yeah,
Don't
It
you
is
want
the
to
end
be
of
an
the show. Look how
honest
she
governor,
figured that
though?
one out.
We'll post the time.
I will.
Be like, I did inhale.
We will post the
motherfuckers.
time. We'll
Oh, hell
post
yeah,
it on the
I will.
chat
Doesn't mean
box.
they need video of it to put in their ads. Of course,
So
that might
that,
make the vote for me overwhelming, to be honest.
So, for those of you out there, maybe Sam did it. Maybe we're putting up fake numbers.
There you go.
She's
All
totally
right.
gonna do it. All right. Well, where can they find out about Bong-a-Thon?
You can go to bongathon.com, bong-thon.com. You can call Norm, 720-432-6188. Call him and say, hey, man, I need some information. He'll give you everything you need to know.
I think we have Bong-a-Thon on our website too. If you forget how to spell Bong-a-Thon, everybody, the dashes screw them up.
It's the
Phonetically,
dashes and the
people,
thon.
with
The dashes and the
Not a
thong because it's not thong.
It's not a
with a
bong-a-thong.
G.
It's a thon.
I say bong-a-thong.
You should hear me explaining that on the phone to business people like dumpster companies that are nationwide. So they're never local companies when you call them. They're always in New York or Pittsburgh or some shit like that. And they're like, could you repeat that, please?
It's the bong-a-thong.
Bong
You know what?
dash A dash
You guys
thon.
got to send me a banner ad for the website so we can put it up. I don't think it's on.
Okay, my designer sucks at doing banner ads, but I'll do what I can.
It's not that hard. We just give you the size and they just.
I'll send you what I got. You
All
can
right.
whip it
Is
out
that
for
the
me.
same designer that sucks at getting some things to us?
Oh, just, designers in general.
Sorry.
They kind of work on their own schedule,
They
don't
do,
they?
man.
They
It
do.
kills me.
They do. They don't understand deadline. I do because we deal
I
we
know.
deal with them on a regular basis in the magazine, and it's like so your designer knows that we have to have this by
Is this
yesterday.
your
right.
website? This
Yeah.
looks great. I've never even looked
You've
at
never.
it.
Are you kidding me? You've never looked at my website?
Oh,
Our website is
wow,
badass, by the way.
beautiful.
Go to thhcmag.com. Our pictures
wow,
are gorgeous.
this is
It's
nice.
it's sexy. It's
job.
a sexy website.
Good job,
a hot
David.
I don't fuck around, girl. Come on. Because no, our old website was lame. I will be honest, but it was just one of those things of manpower and time. And finally, it was like I was so fed up one day. I'm like, God damn it, our website's gonna be awesome by in the next month. And we had Bruce Elkins, who used to own the Daily Doobie, did our website. Did
I
a
stopped
great job.
caring
Bruce is
like
a good
3
dude.
seconds
Oh,
ago.
you stopped caring?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, time to go.
All right. Well,
Bong-a-thong.
thanks again for coming on, Norm
Bong-a-thong.
Jetter. We're going to post Samantha's fastest gram time or whether she disqualifies or not, because that's definitely likely.
Last time, didn't I shoot my load?
We
like,
both
really
disqualified
early?
last time. We were terrible. We did not represent
It was my
THC well.
first time. I was a little excited.
It was
guys.
her first time. So she
I
broke her
kinda came
cherry
a little
and
early,
she
you
blew
know,
the
to
cherry
the
out of the
show.
bowl just like I did. All
I
right.
always blow my cherry really fast sometimes, David.
I know. Until next time, thanks for listening. Thank you to our sponsor, Incredibles. You guys are awesome.
Oh, I love Incredibles. Yeah, Incredibles. All right.
And next week we do have a really cool guest. And
do?
Yeah, I do. But I forgot to write them down and put the pre, so I'm gonna have to post it as soon as we get
All
off.
right. And then eventually Mayor Mike Donovan will be coming in. So
Mayor Mike Donovan should be coming in 2 weeks, I think.
yes, 2 weeks. I'll
Excellent.
get that.
Oh no, I won't be here. We'll figure out the scheduling offline. Thank you.
Sean Coleman and I can have the. Anyways. All right.
Until next time,
Peace
love
and
hemp.
Bong-a-thon.
I knew you were gonna say it.